So I guess when you really think about it, Aizen is actually one of the biggest shippers in the Bleach fandom, which anytime you have a show, it's always the fans being the biggest shippers, but leave it to Aizen in this ironic, really fascinating way. Through sheer coincidence, you know, evil plans happening as they typically would for him, but the pure curiosity in this man, that when he sees the potential, someone's like, hey bro, this is unexpected, I'll go eliminate her so things don't get worse. Aizen says, hold back my boy, let's see where this goes. And the sheer curiosity of a Shinigami and a Quincy love story, or just connection in general, was so fascinating that unexpected shipping OTP fandom mindset ended up creating someone who then in return through multiple manipulation story arcs ended up being his downfall. And if that isn't the most Aizen way to go and to see how it all clicks, I don't know what is. In a weird way, you might also be able to consider Aizen's second daddy to Ichigo, because without him and his Cupid love arrow, Mama Dearest would have been dead prior to ever giving birth. So holy shit, that was unexpectedly pretty funny in a Bleach sort of way, but great episode. Full live reaction is available on my Patreon, of course, if you're interested, so check that out if you so wish. But for an episode that I was kind of expecting it to slow down, because I heard that because, well, we're approaching Christmas, we're approaching New Year's. Typically shows that do last in between that weird area, they typically get double episodes. So next week we're getting episodes 12 and 13 all in one go. We're not going to have 2 more weeks of this Bleach core, we're getting it all wrapped up next week. So my assumption was, okay, we just came off of that crazy Kenpachi fight, crazy fights in general. I imagine there'll probably be a fight of some sort, but mostly it will be an info dump. I mean, we literally yeeted our boy out of Soul Society saying you're not fit to be here, and you're truly not going to work out here. So where do you go other than info dump and probably backstory? And then to, you know, officially get it confirmed, I think they were heavily implying it, and you could probably argue that when the Quincy King was more or less fighting Yamamoto and everyone just prior to him leaving, kind of was very much like saying like, hey, your mom's a Quincy, more or less. But I think to have it be revealed and then to see the whole connection that brought everything full circle, the thing that I like about Bleach, and I've mentioned this in prior videos at least 2 times, maybe even 3, is the way they handle quote-unquote power-ups, or the way they give characters something they didn't have before, and the way Bleach handles it either by still letting them lose, so it doesn't feel like a typical power-up, so, you know, someone powers up, they win from nothing. No, they can power up seemingly and still end up losing. Or in the case of something like this, where, you know, past things that have happened, like, you know, Ichigo's kind of like holification, and to see how, like, this connection and how things can then start to relate from so far back in the day, and just the way Bleach is very careful about giving characters something new or pulling stuff from thin air. And when that seemingly might happen, it always does connect by the end. And I think that's why Bleach is very underappreciated when it comes to its power system. It's not just like someone believes real hard and shit magically happens. It's not like an author who was just like, oh shit, I made the character super strong this arc, now I need to make them breathe fire just because we gotta one-up ourselves. Bleach has a pretty thorough, very complex on paper power system mechanics at play, but it does feel like it follows a typical set of rules that are easy to connect, and maybe if you can in the moment, the more you watch, and now that we're finally approaching the end, I feel like the past arcs and why things may have happened, or why when Aizen is about to drop bombshells in previous arcs and he gets cut off, like what everything kind of relates to at the end of the day. And I really like that about this, because when it came to the fight that we did get, unexpectedly badass once again. I was expecting a very quick fight of some sort. Bleach is pretty good at giving a fight of some sort no matter what. But to start a fight when heads are literally severed like that, and then it's just like, I mean, his dad at one point, he gets cut on his back, right? Or like his shoulder area, like he grabs his own blood and then with his flame attack uses it to like spread. That shit was metal, like that was just absolutely nutty. And the character that he was fighting, you could literally take that character design and throw him in any other anime, and that's a Demon Lord, Demon King, top tier general in any other anime. It was a really cool, badass character design, and it was just really a minion, all things considered, when you think about the grand picture of what characters represent in the Bleach world. But I mean, the fact that this is one of the most badass things ever, because it's a double whammy of badassery. You have our girl standing there with the bow, firing a shot, dissolves it, almost as like, hey, come hither. Allows this sucker to bite her on the shoulder, to then with a little finger gun move with the bow to shoot that fool right off. not only is it metal and badass because she literally was, any other person attempt that probably would get their head cut off. Hell, the initial directing choice they did, I thought he did bite the head off. And I was like, how does that make sense? We haven't even given birth yet. Where are we going here? But that was just such a brilliant directing choice. And for an episode that was kind of like building up the separation of these two, I mean, she's coming from this household that is more or less, it's pretty toxic in a lot of ways, and the elements that aren't toxic are still saying, hey, we don't go help them until they're dead. That's our job. We come afterwards, right? So I like the fact that for this kind of unexpected love story, right, you have the most Ichigo response ever. And I was kind of expecting her to have more of it, but I really like the fact that in a lot of ways, when you kind of look at how she was being presented with her personalities, actually kind of gave me Orihime vibes, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's only me thinking it, but when she initially says like, hey, I'm a Quincy, yeah, there's a little shock, but in like such Ichigo fashion, just a big smile like, oh, that's cool. And just, it's kind of heartbreaking because then she starts saying like, oh, maybe the whole family will be in the same boat as being accepting and stuff. But it's just, I like what they did while giving such great character explanations of what things mean and what it actually represented for Ichigo as a character this entire time, the connection with the parents and why, everything happened the way it did. More Aizen is always a blessing, but the fact that all things considered, yes, it's more complex than just saying he's an OTP shipper or anything, but you can meme it in that way because, the fact that his curiosity, and as they say, curiosity killed the cat, the curiosity of not letting your man take the shot that would have probably saved you your downfall is kind of hilarious, and that's what I love about this show. Like, I truly think Bleach has an energy that is unlike any of the main big three in terms of when all big threes were happening. And I think what I like about it, even in the face of such, like, worrying about the future of where characters might go, you just have this energy, like when we initially had our crew drop from the sky and there was just such a bundle of what the hell are these personalities, and you're telling me they're super strong? Ichigo's dad just being like, hey, see you guys later, I can do this by myself. As just prior to that leave, he's literally more upset about who ate his food than the list of dead people they need to go over. Like, there's just something about the personalities in the show that I really, really enjoy. And the fact that the way characters bicker, it feels like genuine companions or friends or frenemies in ways, and just to see how much information is getting revealed in such carefully directed ways. I mean, I wasn't sure exactly what the title of the episode was represent, if it was going to be more deep than just it being rain. But the fact that rain makes for such a somber and perfect atmosphere for so many different types of scenes, it was the perfect type of scene for a bloody battle that kind of ended up being this love story that we ultimately know how everything ends up in kind of present day of Bleach, and it's pretty fantastic. But either way, I leave an episode with a lot of thoughts and questions in my head, kind of minds racing, the gears are turning, and I'm excited to see where the last couple of this core is going to go and where core 2 will go in spring. But do let me know your thoughts down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, full live reaction is available on the Patreon, and while you're there, you can also get yourself a video shoutout like a few are about to get here. So we got Joshua Kingsley, Emil Edberg, and Asif Montgomery. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.